Hi, thanks for checking out our channel here. This is going to be a hopefully repair video on this old unit. This is a Gallagher Super 60 with a little 2 next to it. This is a mid-late 80s model that they sold. It's a 15 stored joule, probably like 8, 9 output, something like that. I don't know the exact output voltage on these things. But this, they did make a 220 volt version. This happens to be a 110 volt version. You can see a little 2 next to it, Super 60, little 2. They did make a Super 60 before this one in the 70s and early mid 80s. When it was discontinued, it was a big oblong thing. It was about this wide, but about 4 or 5 inches taller. You know, about this much taller than the other one, than this one is. Totally different guts on the inside, and I think it was a 220 volt, 110 volt. They kind of had both versions floating around there for a while. Now this one's been worked on before, of course, because it's got 35, 40 years of age on it, so it's not original to it. I think we've even worked on this one about 5 years ago, and it wasn't a very costly repair last time. I think we fixed the board and did some other little things to it, and it went right back to working again. But we're gonna tear into this thing and see if we can get it going again. There's some stuff rolling around the inside, so that's not always good. Depends on what, probably 40-year-old plastic that's rolling around the inside. So it used to be purple. The case used to be purple. You can see it's turning this grayish color to it, but the case is pretty bad shape. And see, we've epoxied it in the past. We put some Gorilla tape on there, and it's starting to crack over here now. So we'll probably have to do it some more because of I don't know if we got another case that'll fit that unit. All right, so it looks like the capacitors were replaced in 2002 by somebody. So 22 years ago they were replaced. And this board is 2001, so the board's been replaced at one point in time, and it looks like we've repaired the board. So we can put some new diodes on there at some point in time. Like we might have replaced the thermal shutdown device on there, but overall this board looks like it's still original. Looks like we replaced the wire on this one. I think we've done something else to this too. Oh, I put another transformer in it at one time or another. Well, let's get a meter out. I'm going to do a check across these capacitors. These are 30 microfarad capacitors. They're wired in parallel. So if you know capacitors, when you wire capacitors in parallel, what do? They add up. They don't divide, they add. So capacitors in parallel add up. So there's 30 here, or 30 a piece, so they should read 60. And they're reading 52, so they're probably both reading about 26, 27 microfarads. We could put new ones in there, but I don't think they're going to gain all that much extra power, for as low as they are. I mean, they're going to go bad, but maybe 5, 10 years from now, that sort of thing. If I remember right, the guy said this one doesn't come on at all. So the next thing we want to do is, it was working great, and then they had a storm roll through it and it quit. So there's no fuse on this thing, but there is a thermal shutdown device, and it acts like a fuse, and it is indeed bad. We're not getting any reading out of it, any ohms reading out of it at all. So we need to change that out and get my soldering iron powered up, and while that thing's warming up, I'm going to get the thermal cutout for it right there. Other than that, it looks like it's pretty good shape. Alright, it's almost ready to go. The soldering is almost warmed up. That's I'm going to ohm across. These two wires should be 0 point something ohms, 0.3. So the primary, the transformer's fine. So in theory, if we replace that thermal cutout on there, this 40-year-old unit, which the output board's definitely the old style. They used to, this output board Later ones were green. This one's got that tan colored board in it. That's what they call a VDR board, output protection board. VDR stands for voltage dependent resistor. And that's what these things are, basically, the VDRs. They call it the VDR board. It's a surge suppression type of stuff for lightning. And those are used on the fence and ground side, not the AC side. A little bit more. Okay, let's see if we got enough of it off there, of the solder, that we can pull this little clip off there. Pull it off there. Let's see what size that was. See if I use the same size today. Yep, same size we have still in stock today. Alright, so we're gonna, these are temperature controlled. They do have an amp rating on them, but I think it's more crucial of the temperature rating that's on there, since they are a thermal cutout, not a thermally controlled on the rating. So put that clip back over it to hold it on there, and then we'll solder it back on. Okay, put this board back in there. Let's plug it in, I put some, I messed with that clamp on the back side there. Let's get the fancy meter out. We'll do a voltage check. Do peak voltage. We'll look at the number on the left. Now there won't be any joules on it because it's not doing any work. We're about 8,000 volts almost, 7.6 kV with no load. It's about where it should be. We'll put a 500 ohm load on there. Should drop down around to probably around 5,000, give or take. All right, down to 6,000. Okay, it's a right now we're at 6,000 volts at 5.9 joules, so almost 6 joule output at 500 ohms. So we'll go to a 200 ohm load. Hopefully this number will indeed fall. Hopefully that number goes up. Went up a little bit. We're up to 6 joules, 4.3 kV. Something arcing on here. Let me put this load back across it. Nothing's arcing. I just thought it might have been. So this, we could probably get the joules to come a little bit higher if we change those capacitors out, but I don't think we're going to gain all that much. We don't pass this threshold. So I don't know how much money this guy wants to put in this thing. I mean, it's not going to cost that much to fix it as it sits. And he wasn't complaining about the performance of it. He said, hey, it was working fine. So I must have been doing his job. So turn power off. The only thing that would probably allow the joules to come up a little higher is if these capacitors were all changed out, but I think at the age of the unit, I want to put a whole lot of, don't want to complex the repairs of it too much. He's got another unit running it right now, defense, and he says it's doing fine. So we're going to leave it as it is with the power that we've got with this thing. And because, I mean, there's nothing, I mean, I really don't want to start nickel and diming the guy with a bunch of little parts here and there and extra labor and stuff. Get this clip off there. This clip has been changed out. This is a later style clip, and they're a little bit wider than the original ones were. So at Gallagher, I know why we didn't do this before, but what they're always recommending to do is put a piece of double-sided foam tape in there, just to take up the extra little bit of room. Because these were a little bit longer. See, now it doesn't move as much. It moves a little bit, but not like it was before. Alright, so now we'll put that there. It might be a little quieter too. A little bit quieter, because that cushioned it more. And the sound radiates from that transformer. That's why units like this, they're a lot louder than the later ones were, because the metal plates, lamination plates that are inside here, the transformer slides onto, radiate the sound out. Later ones, the plates that they were encased inside of a big block of epoxy, basically, and that epoxy, of course, would muffle the sound. Sound couldn't escape out the big block of epoxy. That's why later ones were quieter, because of just how their internals were. Doesn't mean it's weaker, it just means it's quieter, is all. Alright, well, this one's done. We're gonna do some more gluing or whatever on here. We're gonna put some flex glue on here and put it across the little seam there where it's cracked. Give it about a 24-hour cure time. We might put some more Gorilla Tape on there just to kind of help seal it up a little bit more. So what more could you ask for a 40-year-old unit? And yeah, he put money in it 5-6 years ago from us, doing some repairs on it, but 90% of what we did to it's still good. Just that thermal cutout blew again. And I think we replaced, that was one of the pieces we replaced last time. I'm not going to use those stupid flat screwdrivers on there, or flat screws. I'm going to use some Phillips on there. So easy to get out. Well, there you go. Fix another one. Now let's move on to another one. Till next time, see you later on.